Dr. Stan Gross. Welcome to session 6. This is an important session because, unless you have this information going for you, you don't know what you're up to. You have to have a goal. You have to have a roadmap to be able to get from point A to point B and not get lost. And part of that is really simple. I don't want this to be complicated. I've seen complicated and it just doesn't work. People don't respond to complicated all that well. So, what's your goal? Well, for a lot of you, because you're in the United States, it's obesity, it's overweight. But not everyone. And we've been reviewed now, I see following from 4 different countries. And some of you in Southeast Asia and some of you in India and Bangladesh, obesity isn't the issue. Malnourishment might be the issue. And for some of you, it's you don't feel as good as you should. You don't exercise. You eat the wrong foods. And you want to feel better. It's reasonable. Totally reasonable. Everyone should want that. So in order for that to be true, we have to do a history. Let's do a family history first. How are mom and dad? Are they still alive? How'd they die? How about your grandparents? How did they die? What kind of diseases were prominent in your family? How about you? How's your health history? Have you had a whole list of diagnoses? Have you had a long list of medications you've taken for a long period of time? That has a lot to do with how we change things in the future. Have you been labeled with a diagnosis that they say is lifelong? It's true, there are some. I've dealt with it. But that doesn't mean you have to limit your life based upon a diagnosis. Not the quality of your life, by any means. So, get that information together. And let's take a look at it. And then I would really love for you to do some homework. I know. Homework. Your dietary history is important to me. Whether you're wanting to lose weight or just get healthier. For 7 days, I want you to write down everything you eat and everything you drink. Including vitamins, including medication, including water. Everything that goes in your mouth. And then on a daily basis, I want you to put down, I felt tired today, or I felt energetic, I felt happy, I felt depressed. Whatever it is, however you felt that day, your energy level, you need to tell me about it. It's important. And then you'll send that to me and we'll go over it. So is that enough? Well, regardless if you're wanting to lose weight or just change your inflammatory profile, I want you to go to your computer or even on your phone, you can get this, and look up basal metabolic rate, a BMR calculator. In that, it's going to ask your age, your height, and your weight. And what that's going to tell it through the calculator is how many calories you burn just breathing, just living. Not doing anything special. What you burn calorically per day. Now they show you on the side if you work out 3 days a week fairly vigorously, that number obviously increases because your calorie demand increases. But that number is very important. For weight loss, it tells me that we can run you into a certain deficit. So if your total BMR is 2,500, and if we take you to 2,000 calories, you're in a 5,000 calorie a day deficit. You will lose weight. You will. Especially if we change the profile, or the macro profile of the food you take in. It's not fast. It's not going to happen quickly. But that's okay. We're not in a hurry. We want to do this the right way. Now, the other thing we can do, for some of you, this might be a really good idea, to have some blood work done. And if you have insurance, or if you'd rather have this run through your primary care, I can order the blood work for you. But, depending on where you are, it might be more convenient for your family doctor to do this. I want a comprehensive metabolic panel. I want a CBC with differential. I want a lipid panel. I want your vitamin D levels. I want a liver panel. And I want just a simple urine analysis. It's kind of a health screen, but it also gives me not just a metabolic profile, but an inflammatory profile. It tells me if your body's dealing with low, medium, or high level of inflammation. In and of itself, it's not truly diagnostic. We'd have to get real specific if we're looking for a diagnosis, but this is a good start. And I'll be glad to review your results with you, tell you what I think. For some folks, we got to get more detailed. You've got some health issues. You've got this feeling of impending doom inside you. So there are things like Lifeline, for instance, and they show up at hospitals or larger clinics in a truck, or they go to a specific room and they got screening equipment. And it looks at arterial and venous flow, blood flow. They look at possible occlusions. They look at inflammation. They scan to see if there's any abnormal growth changes in your body. And based upon what they're looking at, is it a predictor to certain cancers? It could be. But it's a screen. It's not fully a diagnostic tool. It is a screen. And they have specials for $150. Others are like $400 or $500. I'm sure you can spend more if you want to. And are they covered by insurance? I don't know. They might be. But if you're really curious about your health, it's probably not a bad idea to have it done. There's special laboratories, doctor's data, for instance, the stool analysis. And that tells if there's bleeding going on that you don't notice otherwise. It measures parasitic involvement. It looks at inflammatory issues that show up in the stool. And that analysis is around anywhere from $400 to $600. Is it necessary? Well, we have to look at your history first. I don't recommend it for everyone necessarily. It's not a useful test for just anyone. Allergy sensitivity test, ALCAT, and other companies will do that. Now, the problem with that is if you have one major allergy, it can make you sensitive to 20 different things. So it's important to have that looked at, otherwise you won't expose yourself to anything outside and you won't eat anything because the list is too long. That doesn't make sense. Sensitivity is different than allergy. But if you are, say, lactose intolerant and didn't know it, or develop lactose intolerance over time, or even things like wheat, like if we look at gluten sensitivity. Those are the two most common, obviously. It'd be a good idea to see if that's the case or if it's a sensitivity based on your particular choice of grains, because we can change that. And those tests are, again, cheaper ones are around 200, more expensive ones you can spend up to 1,000. But on average, I would say 400. And then the last thing, and I think this one's important and it's not expensive, it's the total body fat analysis, or the DEXA scan. Now, locally in this area, there are several universities and actually hospitals that have DEXA scans. And you can check. I know that Lindenwood College locally here, Logan University, Washington University, St. Louis University, in the St. Louis area, they all have DEXA scans. And they run specials, basic information for around 50, but more advanced, more detailed for 150. And those are all good. And I know that many of you are on a budget, so if you just get the basic information, for instance, if your body scan shows that you have 30% body fat or greater, that's called obesity. And I've had patients that have hit 38 to 42% body fat. Way too much body fat on there, not enough muscle. So that gives us a goal to change your lean body mass. And we do that through not just diet, but exercise. If your body fat analysis is around 20, that's pretty good. 20, 25 is not too bad. If you were an athlete, you would want that to be around 15 to 20. And if you're a bodybuilder, that can drop as low as 4, but not for very long. We need fat. You see, we need fat for hormones. We need fat for nerve tissue, for the brain. We need fat for energy. And it's important that we don't go over a number or under a number. So you got all these testing strategies in front of you, and it's like a smorgasbord, right? You choose what you want done here. And if it doesn't give us the answers we're looking for, we can get more in depth later if we want. That's fine. And I know you're going to ask, okay, how much will I charge to analyze this for you? Well, you're going to be shocked because I'm going to keep this price very low, because I'm reaching out with these sessions right now to 6 different countries. And not everybody has, a lot of money to flow around. So if we're looking at Southeast Asia, there are 4 countries viewing these sessions. India, Bangladesh, some European countries have responded to this. So if the price is too high, they just can't do it. So I'm charging $40 to analyze everything. And I'll go over those tests, and we do this online. If you're local, we can do it face-to-face. That's fine with me. You pay me through Zoom or Venmo. We'll make those arrangements whenever. But I want to keep it reasonably priced because I want this accessible to everyone, because this is important. This is how you set up the basis of your goals. This is how you reach your destiny. Your ultimate destiny never arrives. It's quality. How's the quality of your life? I don't care about quantity. I don't say I don't care. I want you to live as long as possible. But I want those to be quality years. I want you to feel good. I want you to feel joy. I want you to live your optimum life. And to do that, we just have to follow the roadmap. So give this some thought. In the comments, tell me you're interested, and we'll hook something up. We'll make this happen for you. This is a lifelong commitment for me and for you. So, let's get busy. Let's do this. Yeah, I know some of you thinking, next thing he's going to talk about is exercise. Yeah, we'll get there. Don't worry. I'm serious about this stuff. So, take care. I'll see you in the next session.